Welcome back to Supernatural, a series of short videos featuring the Ministry of Legacy of Worship. Co-founder, my parents, Bill and Linda Faught, and I'm Katie, their youngest daughter. And with today's Supernatural events, this is my dad, Dr. Bill Faught Jr.
Hello everybody, great to see you again, and we're sorry for the delay. You've probably been chomping at the bits waiting for this next one. Well, the Bible says, Katie, that the eyes of the Lord look to and fro throughout the earth, looking for those whose hearts are turned towards Him. Now that's an amazing thing if you think about that. That's a whole other teaching. But this segment is about East Africa. We were in a missions conference in Irving, Texas, and Frank Masambia, who now works with our ministry, fantastic brother. But Frank was attending the conference, and then the next year he brought a pastor friend from Mombasa, Kenya. His name is Cosmos, not Cosmos, okay, but Cosmos. And so our practice was at the Friday night of every one of these missions conferences, we would invite people to come. As I said last week, we were talking about Indonesia and the young lady who came up to pray. Well, in this particular conference, Pastor Cosmos came forward to pray for Kenya. And he really shortened his prayer to just one phrase. He says, "I declare the drought is over." Now all of us are really engaged, we're praying, just like really into it, Katie, and of course we agreed. The next morning, he showed us a text that he received from his wife that says, "It's raining."
Oh,
now, here's the big deal. There had been little to no rain for 5 years, okay? 3 years of very little rain, 2 years of absolutely drought conditions. Katie, people were walking several kilometers one way just to get 1 liter of water. And so it was really a bad deal. And so I asked him to speak to his wife. And when we calculated the time difference in the time zones, it began to rain the same hour that we all declared the drought is over. Now, interestingly enough, Cosmos was told 2 weeks before he came to the conference that the group of churches that he's part of, that they no longer believe in anything prophetic or that God does things like that. So he was challenged. He says, but I know what we experienced. I know what God did. And he said, "How do I explain it?" I said, "You just do that with a pure heart. You just tell him, brother, this is what has happened, and we need to have Bill and Linda come." And that's exactly what they did. They asked us to come and to teach on the ministry of worship and intercession and prophetic ministry. But interestingly enough, also, 2 weeks before the conference, God gave me a song that we sang that Friday night. Now, if you know our ministry at all, you probably already know where I'm going with this, but the name of the song was called "Release Heaven's Rain," which became the title song for the album, actually the only album that we have available on our website, which is called "Release Heaven's Rain." And we sang it that night that we declared the drought was over, not knowing each other's story. So the plan was to go to Africa. That's how we got there the first time. So when we, but in preparations, Frank was in the country of Burundi one day, and he was on his way back flying and looking out the window, and he said the Lord spoke to him that when Bill and Linda are in Africa, they need to go to Burundi. And we had time in our schedule, and I said, "Brother, we trust that you hear the Lord, and I feel a peace about that. So we put it in the schedule. But we first went to Kenya. The conference in Mombasa was incredible. The bishop of like 1,000 churches opened all of his churches to us. It was just like, if God did nothing else beyond that, that was an amazing time. But from there we went on to Burundi. When we arrived in Burundi, we were met at the airport by a senator and a member of parliament. Now these are believers, and we were in the country for 10 days, and every single day we were there, we had political officials lined up at our door to meet us. Now, I have written more about this story, this supernatural story, in my newest book, The Journey. Living by Revelation Never Ends. You can only find it on our website, that is legacyofworship.com. But anyways, Katie, excuse me, we met the chaplain of the army and the police force. We met other members of parliament. We met other senators. And we actually, on the day before we were to board the plane to return to Kenya, we were actually sitting in their White House. Okay, that doesn't happen every day. To be invited to the White House of a country, and so we have a meeting with Dr. Albert, who is the deputy chief of staff of what they call state protocol. He basically sets all the schedule. And make sure that the president's safe, but he's also the spiritual advisor for the president, who is also a believer. All of these people standing in our door, and then also when we go to their White House, are believers. They're Christians, and so we're just blown away by God's favor. So while we're there, he asked us to make a schedule for the president when he planned to go to Dallas of that year, and I said, well, what does the president want to do? And in typical African tone, it was the president will do these three things. And so one was to visit Bishop T.D. Jakes. Never met the brother, but I said we tried. I said and then Dr. Albert said he will be on Daystar Television. Didn't know anyone there. But I said we would try. He said he wants a meeting either with politicians or Christian businessmen. I didn't know anyone that was like millionaires and all this stuff, but I said we would try. So we returned to the U.S. and God just supernaturally opened doors. We actually knew people that knew people that knew people, and we were able to have lunch with Bishop T.D. Jakes, the president of Burundi, and his entourage and our ministry team. And he was put on Daystar Television. That's a long story, and we actually met with a billionaire, with a B, a billionaire. Don't know too many of those.
No.
And crazy thing. And the Lord spoke to me and he said these words, "Welcome to the new normal." Now, Katie, I don't know about you, but that would blow me away. To hear the Lord say, "Welcome to the new normal." And we have really experienced that since. We've been in the White House in Burundi a total of 4 times. We have been in the presidential palace. I've been able to give prophetic words directly to the president. I've had dreams and visions that I could share with Dr. Albert that got to the president